Welcome to Bookworm. Every story has a voice. Sit back and enjoy the story.
Shaman Pack, written by Leah Killian. Episode 1, The Call of the Bush. The Bushveld night hummed with life. Mopani trees stood like silent sentinels under a silver moon, their leaves whispering secrets to the cricket's endless song. Torches flickered around the Storm Ridge Pack's gathering, casting shadows that danced across the dusty ground. The air smelled of wood smoke and dry earth, sharp with the promise of something wild. Lila stood at the edge of the crowd, her blonde hair tied back, her fingers twitching at her sides. At 18, she was still new to the Shaman Pack, still learning what it meant to carry Celeste, her wolf, inside her. But tonight, something else stirred. A pull deep in her chest, like a thread tied to her heart. "He's here," Celeste's voice echoed through their thoughts, low and certain. "Your mate." Lila's breath caught. Her eyes scanned the crowd, past laughing pack members and clinking beer bottles, until they landed on him. Kale, the Storm Ridge alpha heir. Tall, with dark hair swept back like a storm, he leaned against a tree, his laugh easy, but his eyes guarded, like a mask carved from stone. The mate bond hit her like lightning. Her knees wobbled. Her lungs forgot how to breathe. She felt his heartbeat, steady and strong, pulsing through the link like a distant drum. "He feels it too," Celeste growled, "but something else is watching." Lila's gaze flicked to the Storm Ridge pack house, a weathered farmhouse with creaking wood and rusted iron. Its windows were dark, but one caught her eye. A shadow moved behind the glass, tall and rigid, an old man's silhouette. Her heart stuttered. She blinked, and it was gone. "Who was that?" she whispered, her voice barely a breath. "Staring at the alpha hair again, Lila?" Zane's voice cut through her thoughts, sharp with a grin. He sauntered up, all lean muscle and cocky charm, a beer in one hand. At 19, he was the Shaman Pack's best tracker, with a quick tongue and quicker reflexes. "Careful, you'll burn a hole through him." Lila rolled her eyes, shoving him lightly. "Shut up, Zane." "I wasn't staring." "Right," he smirked, taking a swig. "Looks like you're about to howl at the moon for him." She wanted to snap back, but her eyes drifted to Kale again. He glanced her way, and for a split second, gold flickered in his eyes, like his wolf was waking. The bond pulsed harder, stealing her breath. Then his face hardened, the mask slamming back into place, and he turned away, joining his beta in a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. Lila's chest tightened. He felt it, she thought. "Why's he acting like I'm nothing?" "He's fighting himself," Celeste said, her voice like a warm ember. "But you've got bigger battles." Lila tried to shake it off, weaving through the crowd toward Kale. The bond pulled her like a tide, her boots crunching on the dried bushveld earth. She stopped a few feet away, her heart hammering. Kale was talking to his beta, a burly guy with a sneer, but he sensed her. His shoulders tensed, and he turned, his dark eyes locking onto hers. The bond flared. His heartbeat thrummed through the bond, strong but guarded, like a door half closed. "What do you want?" Kale's voice was flat, cutting through the night. Lila swallowed, her voice shaky. "I just wanted to talk. There's nothing to say." His words were ice, but the bond betrayed him, a flicker of pain, sharp and raw. "Stay away from me." He walked off, leaving her rooted to the spot. The beta smirked, his voice dripping with venom. "Strays like you don't belong here, shaman girl." Lila's fists clenched, her nails biting into her palms. She opened her mouth to retort, but a firm hand landed on her shoulder. "Oi, beta, go bark at someone who cares," Elaine said, her voice sharp as a blade. The shaman mentor, in her 40s, stood tall, her weathered face lit by the fire. Her blonde hair was streaked with gray, and her eyes held the weight of too many battles. "Come, girl. We've got work to do." Lila followed Elaine to a quieter corner of the clearing, where a small fire burned. The older woman pulled a bundle of impefo from her pocket, its earthy scent curling as she lit it. Smoke spiraled upward, blending with the Bushveld night. That vision you had, the old man in the window? Elaine's voice was low, her eyes sharp. That's no coincidence. Your shaman blood's waking up. You're seeing the restless. Lila's stomach twisted. Restless? Like ghosts? Elaine nodded, her expression grim. Wolves who died wrong. They're tied to that house. She gestured to the farmhouse, its silhouette looming against the moon. You're born to guide them, Lila. But it's not a game. Lila's throat tightened. She'd known she was Shaman Pack, but this, seeing spirits, breaking curses, was new, overwhelming. Elaine handed her the impefo, the smoke stinging her eyes. Say it with me, Elaine said. Geeste van die ou grond, praat. Laat die waarheid loop. Like they carried the weight of the Bushveld itself. The smoke thickened, the air growing heavy, pressing against her skin. A low growl echoed, not from the pack, but from the shadows beyond the fire. Damn it, what's that thing? Zane yelled, stepping closer. Like my granny's ghost stories came to life. A jackal spirit slunk from the darkness, its form flickering like smoke, its eyes glowing red. It was no ordinary jackal. Its body was too long, its teeth too sharp, like a nightmare stitched together by old magic. Lila froze, her heart pounding, but Celeste's energy surged. Fight, Lila, Celeste growled. You're stronger than you know. Zane grabbed a carved wooden staff, tossing Lila a knife etched with runes. Move, Lila, he shouted, grinning despite the danger. Unless you want this thing eating your fancy knife for supper. Lila gripped the knife, her hands shaking but steadying as Celeste's strength flowed through her. The jackal spirit lunged, snarling, its claws raking the air. Lila ducked, slashing wildly, the blade catching its smoky flank. Zane swung his staff, landing a hit that made the creature hiss and dissolve into wisps of smoke. The crowd murmured, some impressed, others wary. Lila's eyes flicked to KL, standing at the edge of the clearing, watching her. His face was unreadable, but the bond pulsed with something new. Pride, maybe, or fear. He saw me fight, Lila thought, her chest tight. But he still walked away. The gathering broke up soon after, the pack scattering into the night. Lila couldn't stay. Celeste's instincts tugged her toward the forest, away from the torches and laughter. She wandered into the Bushveld, the trees closing around her like a hug. Mopani branches creaked, and a nightjar's call cut through the silence. The mate bond hummed, Kale's heartbeat faint but persistent, like a song she couldn't shake. Why do I still feel him, Celeste? Lila whispered, her boots crunching on dry leaves. He doesn't want me. He's fighting himself, Celeste said, her voice warm but firm. But you've got bigger battles. The trees parted, and Lila stopped dead. A small stone hut stood in a clearing, its thatched roof sagging, smoke curling from a crooked chimney. Symbols were scratched into the walls, glowing faintly under the moonlight. It hadn't been there moments ago. Lila's pulse quickened, but Celeste was calm, certain. The elder, Celeste said. She's waiting. Lila approached, her boots sinking into the moss. The air smelled of pine and rust, sharp and alive. The door creaked open, revealing Anna, the elder, her silver hair glinting like the moon. Her eyes were sharp, cutting through Lila like a blade through fog. You're late, girl, Anna said, her voice like gravel. The dead don't wait for you to make up your mind. Lila stepped inside, the air warm but heavy, thick with the scent of old wood and herbs. The mate bond flared. Kale's heartbeat spiked as if he was nearby, watching. She glanced around, expecting to see him, but the small room was empty except for Anna and a fire crackling in the hearth. Bones hung from strings on the walls, swaying gently, and symbols glowed faintly, like they were alive. What is this place? Lila asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Anna didn't look up from the fire. A place for those who listen. Your wolf brought you here, didn't she? Lila nodded, feeling Celeste stir, a warm presence in her chest. I'm here, Celeste said, her voice steady. Listen to her. Anna tossed a handful of dried leaves into the fire, the flames flaring green for a moment. You saw him, didn't you? The old man in the pack house window. Lila's stomach twisted. Who is he? Someone who doesn't belong anymore, Anna said, her eyes narrowing. But he's tied to that house, to the Stormridge pack. And now, to you. Lila's heart skipped. Me? Why? Anna's gaze softened, but only slightly. Because you're Shaman Pack, girl. You're born to guide the restless, to break what binds them. That old man, he's not just a ghost, he's a curse. Lila's mind raced, the mate bond humming with Kale's heartbeat, faster now, like he was running. She wanted to ask about him, about the pull that wouldn't let her go, but before she could speak, the air grew colder. The fire flickered, casting long shadows across the walls. A voice, not Anna's, slithered from the darkness, low and sharp, like a blade drawn across stone. You don't belong here, it said. Lila spun, her eyes wide, searching the shadows. The bones on the walls rattled, the symbols pulsing brighter. Anna didn't move, but a faint smile touched her lips, as if she'd expected this. The door slammed shut, the sound echoing like a gunshot. Lila's breath caught, the mate bond flaring with Kale's panic, his heartbeat pounding in her ears. Who's there? Lila called, her voice trembling but defiant. The shadows didn't answer, but the air pressed heavier, like the hut itself was holding its breath. Celeste growled, her presence steadying Lila's shaking hands. He knows you're here, Celeste said, and he's afraid. Lila's eyes flicked to Anna, who finally stood, her silver hair catching the firelight. You've stirred something, girl, Anna said. The dead don't like being seen. But you're just getting started. Lila's throat tightened, the weight of it all crashing down. The mate bond, the ghost, the curse. She wasn't ready for this. But Celeste's warmth spread through her, like a hand on her shoulder. You are ready, Celeste said. You just don't know it yet. Anna stepped closer, her eyes locking onto Lila's. Go back to the pack house. Find the truth. But be careful. The dead don't give up easy. Lila nodded, her heart pounding. She turned toward the door, the shadows still thick, the voices' echo lingering in her ears. As she stepped outside, the hut seemed to shimmer, the edges of the clearing blurring. She glanced back, but the hut was gone, swallowed by the bush-felled night, leaving only mapani trees and the faint scent of smoke. She stood alone in the clearing, the moon bright above, a nightjar's call slicing through the silence. The mate bond pulsed, Kale's heartbeat steady but jagged, like he was fighting something he couldn't name. Lila's fingers brushed the knife Zane had given her, still tucked in her belt, its runes cool against her skin. She wasn't sure what she'd find at the pack house, but Anna's words echoed in her mind. Find the truth. She took a step forward, then another, the bushveld whispering around her. The air carried the scent of marula fruit, sweet and sharp, mingling with the dust. Somewhere in the distance, a jackal yipped, its cry sharp against the cricket's hum. Lila's thoughts swirled. Kale's cold rejection, the shadow in the window, Anna's warning. She wanted to run to him, to demand answers, but Celeste's held her steady. One step at a time, Celeste said. The house is waiting. Lila's boots crunched on the dry earth as she headed toward the pack house, its silhouette looming against the horizon. The bond tugged at her, Kale's heartbeat a constant rhythm in her chest. She didn't know what she'd face, ghosts, curses, or Kale's mask, but she knew one thing. She wasn't running away. Not anymore. Back at the clearing, the pack house stood silent, its windows dark except for one. A faint glow flickered, like a candle behind glass. Lila paused at the edge of the trees, her breath catching. The bond flared, Kale's heartbeat spiking again, closer now. She could almost feel him, his scent of wild basil and earth, his presence like a storm held back. "He's there," Celeste said, her voice low, "but so is the curse." Lila's hand tightened on the knife. She took a step closer, the farmhouse's shadow stretching toward her. The air grew heavier, like the house itself was watching. A board creaked, though no one stood on the porch. Her pulse raced, but she didn't stop. She couldn't. "Lila!" a voice called, sharp and urgent. She turned, startled. Zane jogged toward her, his staff slung over his shoulder, his grin gone. "What are you doing, girl?" "That house gives me the creeps. I have to go in," Lila said, her voice steadier than she felt. "There's someone inside." Zane raised an eyebrow, his eyes flicking to the house. "You mean that ghost you saw?" "Damn it, Lila, you're crazier than I thought." "Maybe." She managed a small smile, but the bond pulsed, Kale's heartbeat jagged with fear. "But I'm not running." Zane sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Fine. But if we get eaten by some granny-level spook, I'm blaming you." Lila laughed, the sound surprising her. It felt good, like a crack in the tension. She glanced at the house, the glow in the window brighter now. The bond tugged harder, pulling her forward. She took another step, Zane at her side, his staff ready. As they reached the porch, the door creaked open, just an inch. No one stood behind it. Lila's heart pounded, but Celeste's presence was like a warm hand in hers. "You're not alone," Celeste said. Lila pushed the door open, the hinges groaning. The air inside was cold, thick with the scent of old wood and something sharper, like rust. The bond flared, Kale's heartbeat so loud it drowned out her own. She stepped inside, Zane close behind, and the door swung shut with a thud. In the darkness, a shadow moved. A tall, rigid figure, its eyes glinting like coins in the moonlight. The old man's voice whispered, cold and final. "You shouldn't have come." Lila's breath caught, but she didn't back down. The bond burned in her chest, Kale's heartbeat a lifeline. Whatever this was, ghost, curse, or something worse, she was here now, and she wasn't leaving until she knew the truth. What's next for Lila and Kale? Will the Packhouse's secrets keep them apart, or bring them closer? The Bushveld is calling Macy, and the spirits don't wait. Subscribe, hit that bell, and like this video to join the pack for the next episode. Don't miss the howl from the Shaman Pack in South Africa's Bushveld.